This woman's name is Laura. She works at a film company in the city of London, England. Laura has a dream of becoming rich. Not just rich, but extremely wealthy. Like a sultan, a conglomerate, crazy rich, just really rich. That night while she was working, suddenly Laura's husband named Tony came all the way from Barcelona. Tony is a director. He said he has an idea for a new film. The film is about a wife who is so crazy about work that she never has time for her family. Actually, Tony is hinting at Laura. Because she rarely comes home, their marriage is now broken, and in the process of divorce, Laura, who was offended, left her husband. He and his assistant then attended a film industry award event. After the event, she immediately headed to the airport, wanting to fly to Alaska to meet a wealthy client named Snail. On the way, her assistant informed her of the news that the Pope had just died. Not only the Pope, but many other important people also suddenly passed away. Hearing that, Laura was confused. Upon arriving at the airport, her assistant said that in Alaska, Snail's representative lawyer would pick her up and help handle all the work contracts. Laura understood. During the flight, Laura was on the same plane as a wealthy businessman who also wanted to go to Alaska. To avoid awkwardness, they tried to chat, but strangely, while they were having a pleasant conversation, Laura was shocked. Why were the businessman's teeth shining so brightly? Not long after, Laura had a video call with her daughter. Today is her daughter's birthday. Tony also joined the video call. Because she was celebrating her birthday at home alone without her parents, their daughter was disappointed. Upon arriving in Alaska, when she got off the plane, Laura was shocked to see that her ride was actually a dog sled. The lawyer then gave a coat to keep warm. On the way, the lawyer said, "Just sign the contract later. Everything has been taken care of." When they arrived at the destination, there were many wealthy people from various countries present. Not long after, Snail appeared to welcome the guests. Inside, Snail explained that he invited them here because he wanted to distribute shares of his company for free, completely free. If they wanted, they just needed to sign. Hearing the offer, without thinking twice, everyone immediately signed. The next morning, Laura returned to England. On the plane, when she opened her laptop, she saw news about a new virus outbreak called the rich flu virus. Strangely, the virus only targets wealthy people. Upon arriving in London, Laura was picked up by her assistant and immediately went to the British Royal Palace to attend a painting auction event. During the auction, Laura was interested in a painting. While she was bidding, her daughter called. Outside, while chatting, suddenly there was a sound of someone screaming in pain. It turned out to be the prince of the kingdom. Everyone panicked in fear. Since that incident, the whole world started to become chaotic. The rich flu virus is truly real. No one knows where it came from. Everyone was busy saving themselves. The rich flocked to donate their wealth. At that moment, being rich was the scariest thing. At the office, when Laura met her boss, instead of saving himself, the boss planned to take advantage of the chaos to make a masterpiece film. He was sure his film would be a big hit and we would become very rich. But when he smiled, Laura was shocked to see her boss's teeth glowing. Without realizing it, the boss had been infected. Outside, the assistant informed Laura that the virus status is now emergency, very deadly, and spreads quickly. Worried about her child, Laura asked the assistant to find a flight to Barcelona. In the car, Laura called her lawyer and told him to sell her shares in Snail Company. But the lawyer said it couldn't be done because everyone was selling their shares. The stock market closed. Even now, the value of Laura's shares is skyrocketing. If it doesn't stop soon, Laura could become the richest person in the world. Laura was shocked. Upon arriving at the apartment, Laura immediately packed her things. She put her jewelry and savings into a bag. Just as she was about to leave, suddenly virus extermination officers came to conduct a raid. The officers told Laura to go with them. Laura pretended to agree and asked the officer to wait, saying she forgot something. Laura then escaped through the emergency stairs and called her assistant. The assistant said that now the virus extermination officers are conducting raids and arresting wealthy people. Since the entire area is tightly guarded, he has booked a helicopter at a hidden field. All along the way, the car radio broadcasted news that the list of wealthy individuals from all over the world had been released to the public. Laura's name was on that list. This means that now all wealthy people are fugitives and the public will hunt them down. Upon arriving at the field, it wasn't just Laura. Many other wealthy people also boarded the helicopter. Now there are no more privileges, no private vehicles. Everything is shared. Before leaving, Laura instructed her assistant to sign the asset transfer letter. For the time being, she wants her assets to be temporarily in her assistant's name. Later, after this crisis ends, Laura will reclaim her assets. Hearing that, the assistant was disappointed. He didn't expect Laura to be so heartless as to sacrifice him, even though he had served her for years. Seeing her assistant leave, Laura felt guilty. When she arrived in Barcelona, Laura called Tony to pick her up at the park. While waiting, there was news about Snell being declared missing. Laura was upset because Snell distributed his company shares for free. Laura became very wealthy and ended up in trouble. Now Snell has disappeared. Not long after, Tony arrived. Tony said their daughter is at Laura's mother's house. We will go there. On the way, there was a police checkpoint. Seeing Laura panic while holding a bag, Tony became suspicious. When searching the contents of the bag, Tony got angry. Why bring so much jewelry? Tony then told her to hide the bag. Initially, Laura was still calm during the health check because she hadn't been infected. But when the police wanted to search the car, she panicked. Fortunately, a runaway truck suddenly hit the police car. Amid the chaos, Laura and Tony quickly fled. In the morning, upon arriving home and seeing her daughter was fine, Laura felt relieved. Laura's daughter's name is Anna. Inside, Laura met her mother. The mother-daughter relationship was strained because she was always busy with work and never followed the advice of her parents and husband, causing their family relationship to become distant. That night, while chatting with Tony, Laura apologized for causing a lot of trouble. She also talked about the contract letter for transferring her assets. If the situation continues like this, then no one will want to take her assets. She will remain rich and become even richer. She is confused about what to do. In the middle of the conversation, a neighbor informed them that the residents were flocking here to expel Laura. Shortly after the residents arrived, even though it was explained that Laura was safe and not infected with the virus, the residents didn't care and insisted she had to leave. After packing their belongings because they didn't want to leave Laura alone, Tony, Anna, and Mother went along on the neighbor's boat. On the journey, they were confused about where to go. Who would want to accept us? Mother then suggested it would be better for us to go to the country of Tanzania. Mother has an acquaintance there. Mother's friend has been living independently without money for a long time. Everything is traditional, relying only on nature. Maybe the conditions there are still safe. Everyone agreed. The next morning, they saw many wealthy people's boats flocking to escape and find refuge like them in Barcelona juga. On night, they saw a black boy drifting on a wooden board. After being rescued, the boy said he had been adrift at sea for 6 days. Thank you for helping him. In the middle of the conversation, while passing through Libyan waters, they were intercepted by a military ship. The border guards drove them away, saying that Libya does not accept refugees. The Laura ship was then taken to a remote island in Italy. When they reached near the shore, Laura and her family were forced to jump and swim. The ship and their belongings were taken by force. On the island, there are many refugees like them. All the rich people who have always looked down on the poor are now seen taking turns lining up for aid, scrambling for basic necessities, and hoping for the mercy of others. That night, after wandering for a long time, they finally found an empty tent to rest. But when they were about to sleep, Laura was shocked to see Tony's teeth glowing. Outside, Tony explained that when they were at his mother's house, Laura had once mentioned the contract letter for the transfer of assets. To save Laura, before leaving, he secretly signed the letter and entrusted it to a lawyer. So now Tony is very rich and Laura is poor. The reason why he just got sick now might be because since becoming rich, he unconsciously started to become arrogant, and during this time in the shelter, he often looked down on others. Without realizing it, this wealth has tainted his heart. Seeing her husband sacrifice, Laura felt very regretful. If time could be turned back, she really wanted to be a good wife and mother for her family. Tony reassured her, no need to worry, he was fine. Later, please take care of our beloved daughter. Live happily without him. In the midst of sadness, from a distance, Anna suddenly screamed. 2 kidnappers were taking Anna to be sold to a human trafficking syndicate. Tony and Laura immediately ran to chase them. While trying to save their daughter and beat the kidnapper, Tony was stabbed. An angry Laura picked up a rock and struck the kidnapper's head repeatedly until he died. As a result of that incident, Tony passed away. 1 week passed. Mother invited Laura, Anna, and several other refugees to go to her friend's place in the country of Tanzania. Together they made a boat from scrap materials and distributed maps to everyone. When we arrive at the coast of Libya, if we get separated, go to the meeting point on the map. After the boat was finished, they departed at night. All day, Tatita, the boat kept sailing on the sea until at night, from a distance, the shore finally came into view. They would arrive soon, but suddenly, from the side, a military border patrol ship appeared and collided with their boat. Everyone panicked and jumped into the sea. Laura was separated from her family. The page when Laura was floating near the beach, the locals helped her. When the border guard soldiers arrived, Laura quickly fled. Indilsha arrived at the house of an elderly local woman. Fortunately, the woman was willing to lend a hijab so Laura could disguise herself. Laura kept walking, looking for the meeting point on the map. When she arrived, she was so relieved to see her daughter still alive. However, when she asked where her mother was, one of the refugees informed her that her mother had passed away. The mother sacrificed herself for her beloved child and grandchild. Mother was willing to sell all her organs to pay for the trip to Tanzania. For days, Laura traveled with the refugees by truck on a very long journey. Repeatedly, they switched trucks, traveling across country after country in Africa until finally, after a long time, they reached the edge of Tanzania. Laura's mother's friend and the refugees who had arrived earlier warmly welcomed their arrival. There, everyone began to build a new life together, a life where money is not everything. Once a week, they gather to hand over and exchange their most cherished possessions. All of this is done to eliminate the sense of ownership in their hearts, to learn that all of this is only temporary. This disease is not truly a disease of money, but a disease of the heart. It originates from a corrupt human heart. Money is just an ordinary object like stones, leaves, or sand. What is wrong is not money, but human greed.